Got to pay for this front. That's not good. A couple seconds in, I'm already yawning. New partner Banks. It's been a while, everybody. New episode out. Solo episode. Davis is on his vacation still. Partner Banks, is the usual solo thing I do, which I started last year. I think around this time too. So ironically, I'm doing it now. So it's like the 1 year anniversary. And I usually don't celebrate anything, but I decided to do this. So Partner Banks, new episode. I don't even know what number this is, but I'm gonna go ahead and just run it to begin with. So we here as of this recording. Shouts out to AM Vintage for this shirt. Bought a couple years ago, but as of this recording, we are game 3 into the NBA Finals. Which the Heat got their second game. Shouts out to Mike Wilbon, who was part in the interruption. I think Jalen Rose and other respectable journalists actually admitted to the Heat winning that game too. So we here. Series is even. The Nuggets they took a light. Just to recap, if you haven't seen it, but by now you have. They took a light on them. I'll say that. It was just Jokic out there just being a point guard, like, all right, I'm about to get everybody they passes. I think he had another 12 assists, which is crazy to say that somebody about 7 foot, if not 7 foot, some odd pounds, is just throwing out these assists and doing it like a point guard, point center, as I call him. And that's not even a category, but it will be the next couple of years if he keeps doing this. It's gonna be centers that play point guard. They're gonna be at the one. It's gonna be a 7 foot point guard one day. Watch this. Just these NBA archetypes. But yeah. Game even or series even. Now we got ourselves a series, and let's see what happens on game 3. So by the time this comes out, game 3 will be close to happening. I think game 3 will be on Saturday. They keep spacing out every 3 days, which is fine. Just because the Heat alone have played 100 some odd games at this point, including the playoffs. I mean, the play-ins, then to the playoffs, but then all these game 7s. It's crazy the amount of basketball they played and keep their energy going, and the way they're playing is smart. They're not fatigued. So, but again, that was journalism in a nutshell, which I'll get to. Otherwise than that, I hope everybody is good. Thank you for being here. Thank you for even looking at me. I just want to, like I said, I haven't done this in a while. Decided just to do it. I've been watching a lot of baseball too. Been watching a ton of baseball. Like, I've always been a baseball guy, but in the past couple months since the season started, I have been watching a lot more baseball than usual. So the thing about baseball is too, and I think people don't realize it, like, they'll play back to back to back, and then it'll roughly be the same team. So they'll play back to back, same team, and then actually they'll take like a day or two off, and mostly a day off, and then they'll play another team in that division. But for the most part, they play the same team back to back, just home, which is fine. It gives the fans a chance to come out to the game if they miss one day, and for the most part, you can get a win on that team if it doesn't work out. Watching that. Been watching WNBA. We definitely at that summer mark. Around this time during the summer, yeah, I just watch baseball, WNBA, and then wrestling, which I'll talk about because, yeah, Tony, hey, I wasn't familiar with your game. I wasn't familiar with it, and you got to win. Also, I noticed my cord is tangled up. There's nothing I can really do about that now that I'm live, and this is forever for the most part. Somebody decides to save it, it's definitely forever, and you can do that because I got a Droid phone and I save YouTube videos and games. I'll say that I save all those, so because you never know, this stuff could be taken away. It's basically a rental. Like, all streams are just rentals. That's why any type of music you like, save it. Get you a Droid phone, or if you got you a PC, save it on that. So, far as the wrestling goes, because again, I'm getting mentally prepared for the summer. Besides summer league, it's mostly just going to be, the FIBA championships and stuff like that. They're getting the qualified players, but otherwise than that, like the real, besides the exhibition stuff, we really just have WNBA. We'll have wrestling from fandom. If you're into wrestling, then this is the time where you watch it because there's nothing really else on. And then we have baseball as well, and that much covers it. Just because with the NHL, the Stanley Cup Finals is on right now. I think the Florida Hurricanes or whatever, they got the one up on them. So, and then somebody, I won't say who, what podcast, but they faulted me for watching hockey because I watch hockey from time to time. But yet now, my Florida Panthers or whatever they call a team about to win. I don't know. It just is it Wushi Waller or one Mike, sir. If you listen to this, you know exactly who you are because your last name is just like this hat and this shirt. I'm actually coordinate too. That's fire. Every now I can get a fit off. I don't look like a GameStop employee all the time. Looking at myself too in the camera. Hold on. Oh, y'all see the hair, right? We'll take it all the way off balls, but yeah. That's crazy to hear right there. I gotta get shape up too, but yeah. I look 60. Yeah. But so I'm getting ready for that, which is just basically wrestling. We're close to Money in the Bank. We got the qualifying matches going on right now for both men and women. The AEW pay-per-view I'll talk about later on. Again, I apologize. Tony Khan. And it'll be baseball, WNBA, and then around August, that's when we get spring training. Or I'm sorry, that's when we get training camp for NFL. So it'll be slow until that point. So if you don't watch WNBA, which a lot of people don't, but I highly recommend you watch it, or more so go to the games. Like the last time I went to the game was in 2019. Fire. Their games are great. Those games and then the Clipper games, highly recommend. But the last time I went to those games, fire. It's like being at a club. So I recommend going to the game. It's pretty cheap. I don't have any jokes. They're cheap. I got to go to the Aces game whenever I can. So I can propose to Asia Wilson. And that's all I want to do. Just get me to the game. I might run on the court doing one of these, bro. I don't even know what this insinuate. I don't know what you do. You do the ring. I'm not sure, but regardless, get me to the game. I'll get on one knee. Uh-oh. And propose. The NBA is a goddamn suspect. See, look. All right. But no, I highly recommend that you watch the WNBA if you really want your basketball fix, unless you're gonna watch overseas basketball around that time. But who says y'all want to watch the French team? Even though Victor now Nambiamba is about to basically be the number one draft pick for the Spurs. Not basically, he is basically locked in. So you might want to start watching overseas basketball. And then Jokic, who more likely if they win the series, will be Finals MVP. I'm seeing like a lot of talent is overseas. Y'all tap into that. Oh man, leg day. Oh, I feel all right now. I did leg day earlier, people. Never skip wheel day. I mastered this year doing it because I used to do legs once a month. Now I do it every weekend. It's kind of bothered me. Today I'm good right now. That's the thing about leg day. It'll catch you. Like you'll be fine. But then the next day or two, yeah, you're gonna be hurt. Like last week, I was hurt for like 3-4 days, bro. It's not enough icy out in the world. Right now, I'm all right. Later on, it might catch me. But not to get away from sports. So this would be sports heavy. Like I said, mostly to be talking about wrestling towards the end. But right now, something that I'm doing, I don't know if I do it as well as these pros or whatever, but I want to talk about sports journalism. Why did this thought come up about sports journalism? I'll get to that in a minute. I do want to give an upside to podcasting because podcasting, again, like I've been saying the past couple of years, is the new journalism. That's the new sports journalism overall. You got It Is What It Is, which is probably the best sports show out right now by far. And Stephen A is supposed to be on the episode like in studio, which is crazy. So I don't know how they got that one off, but he showed up to the studio. What the hell is that? So I'll be trying to close the windows and stuff like that when I'm recording. I get distracted. I'm like, oh, this is a bird. But no, so he'll be on It Is What It Is with Cam and Mace. The views are going up steadily. That's the best sports show. Shouts out to the wrestling podcast. Y'all know I'm family with Black Announce Table and others. So it's the new journalism is podcasting, unlike ESPN, because ESPN doesn't know anything about sports. Yes, the worldwide leader in sports, as they say, the Great Mouse Company, they don't know about sports. Why did this come up? So, and it's not I don't want to denigrate anybody because they've been doing this longer than I've been alive. It's just a fact of what are we doing? It's just like they picking topics now. Like, yeah, we want to say this, and who believes it? I don't know if they think the consumers are stupid or they just saying it just to have a conversation, but they should just stop. So this came to be because I was watching. At the only time I see ESPN is at the gym, and obviously right now because they cover the finals. But I was watching it, and they had a question: if Jimmy Butler wins a championship, is he easily the best player? Now, it's a I can't even play. No, it's not a fair assessment to say that. It's not at all, dude. It with ESPN, it goes to is LeBron still the best player? Because they stay not right, LeBron. Like, LeBron better than Jordan. Like, every summer, I want to say for the past 10 years, we get a LeBron and Jordan conversation somehow. Does this hurt LeBron's legacy? Like, dude, who's making these topics? Is what I want to know. Like, yo, who's making these topics? Who gets to say, oh, is LeBron's legacy hurt because he didn't win a championship? No, because they was gonna get bodied. Anybody was gonna get bodied in the West by the Nuggets. They're too tall. All right. Too talented. Everybody scores different. It's just the Heat just have this thing where we just gonna win. We're gonna try really hard to win because nothing beats effort. Nothing beats effort and hard work. That's how you shine. Hard work, dedication. It's nothing else. Anyhow, so with them, they came up with this insane conversation piece. It's like, dude, nobody, no. It's either the MVP, which is Joel Embiid, Nikola, who's in the finals right now with Jimmy Butler, who has 2 MVPs prior to this year, and would have had a third, but they didn't want to have a race riot breakout. And then you got Giannis, who clearly might be the best player. It's either him or Jokic. Even though I just said Joel Embiid, who was the MVP this year, still, you just see what both of them do, where they just take over games. Joel Embiid could do the same, but without Giannis or Jokic, it's like that system don't run like that. But the 76ers Commanders, because they did during the playoffs. By the way, Joel should be a 2-time MVP at this point, but that's neither here nor there. He shouldn't have had one last year as well, and this year. I feel like Jokic shouldn't have got the MVP one time. But at the same time, I'm not one of these people that be like, oh, we just found out about Jokic. No, I watch basketball. In the words of Great Hoops Improves, watch more basketball. I watch basketball. I've been knowing this guy since he got drafted in like 2016, 2017. All right. I think people don't realize he's actually in his prime now. He's 27 years old. He's been here for a while. I don't know. I wasn't paying attention to the Nuggets. The Nuggets since the 70s has had great players. Fat Lever, Melo, AI, the list goes on and on. They've had great players throughout their time. David Thompson, Skywalker. Do y'all Googles on David Thompson? That's Jordan's biggest influence. Skywalker. He was Skywalker for more than one reason. I won't say the other reason, but yeah, the 70s, yeah, that'll have you Skywalker too. That never mind. So they've always had great known players and all-stars. They've had plenty of all-stars. But now they get a chance to finally get a championship, which is crazy to think because all these years they've had superstar Hall of Fame players but never got close to the championship other than the conference finals twice. And he was part of that last team that went to the conference finals of 2023, but Jamal Murray and everybody else wasn't ready. Great team, by the way. Me and him talked about that team, that 2019, 2020 Nuggets team that had 20 centers, and all of them, well, most of them was talented. But Bobo is that guy, and you see what he's doing with the Magic. But going back, so they asked that question, is Butler the best player on the team if he wins the championship? No. He'll be one of the best. I think he's one of the best now. just because you willed your team to the finals, I think he's sure in for Hall of Fame now. Like he done been to the finals twice. He definitely going to the Hall of Fame, which is fine. And hey man, I wasn't familiar with the game, which is a lie. Because I remember he was playing like this when he was with the Bulls when we drafted him. Wish we still had that team. Even in 2023, I don't care. Jimmy's like 31, 22, 32. I mean, D Rose 34, about to be 35. Still, I don't care if we would have had that team right now. Like, imagine a now Jimmy Butler on this Bulls team. Hey, man, get Zach LaVine off my team. Get Jimmy Butler instead. I mean, obviously now we can't do anything. They definitely ain't letting him walk from Miami, and I think he signed a max. If not, he about to sign a super max. So I don't understand. I'm trying to figure out, and anybody here leave your comments or hit me up personally. I don't understand the psychology of what ESPN does when they do that. You're not going to bring up arguments. It used to be 10 years ago with First Take, and I'll get to Undisputed in a second. You could bring up arguments like that, and then people will say, yeah, I understand what you're saying. It doesn't work anymore. The whole LeBron Jordan thing, it's like, all right, if you choose to have that conversation, LeBron is 1B to Jordan's 1A. And this goes with what Jordan said, like every generation has a GOAT. It can't be one distinct GOAT. He's lying because he want to say self because he is the GOAT. But if you want to say the greatest of all time, you do decades, which should actually be fire if you thought about it, just because the 80s magic. But then it brings up that conversation in that sense because you got Jordan. I mean, you got Jordan too, even though he was young. That was the start of his career. It's the mid 80s. But you still had Kareem. He didn't get old to about 86, 87, 88. That's when he started to, deteriorate a little bit. Because players back then, if you play 20 years, which is very rare, like a Bob McAdoo or I think Daryl Dawkins, Moses Malone definitely played 20 years. But Kareem, he usually had good genetics and icy hot. That's all you had. They didn't, and probably some tweed, definitely for Kareem. I don't know if he was smoking back then because he just took his G out, but all praises be to the Most High. So in the 80s, you had those three players: Kareem, Magic, Bird. But then in the 90s, you got Jordan, you got Shaq, and then 2000s AI, Kobe, Shaq, Tim Duncan. Those players like that. So maybe every generation does have their GOATs, but Jordan is by far the GOAT. And these conversations to be had on ESPN, mostly them because they don't know nothing about basketball, sports. I'll get to boxing a little bit because I'll talk about boxing right now with them. They just have the horrible, not PWI. Yeah, PWI. Not that's pro. I'm sure pro wrestling is right, but and I forgot the old boxing magazine. I could look it up, but they have their list, and they've been having that since the 60s, 70s of the best fighters out. Their list is kind of on brand. This year, not so much. But I understand where they're coming from. But ESPN they put out their list, and it's like, where are you getting this from? You go on popularity. And I think that's the whole thing with the whole basketball conversations that they have. It's based on popularity as to right now, which I understand because these kids, they're not going to look this up. They're not going to look up stats. They don't particularly watch the game because nobody nowadays watch the game. I understand everybody's busy, but if you're going to sit up here and talk about basketball or any sport, you have to watch it in real time. Don't sit up and go on ESPN or any of these places and look up just highlight places. You're missing how the play was broken down in order for them to actually get the play done, in order for them to get that rebound, that assist, that the box out, to get the offensive rebound, to get the points, all that. So I tell people, if you're blessed enough, like I have been, to watch LeBron play in person, got to see it in person, because then you'll understand the whole IQ aspect of what everybody says. So again, with ESPN, it's like, dude, if you doing this to cater to a certain crowd, or you just don't watch the game and then they just tell y'all, all right, just go out there and say whatever. Because that's what it seems like. Like with First Take, Stephen A. said it's his show, which is in fact his show now. because they don't have nobody else. Like, I couldn't tell y'all the last time I sat up and watched a full episode of First Take, because it's the same thing. Every now and then they'll bring up the Cowboys, and when there's some type of Cowboys news, because we always gonna be in the news because we the best team in NFL history. But when some type of news comes out, then it's like Stephen A. cutting the shoe promo. And it's not to bully Stephen A., even though he is like the cash cow up there, even though he should be getting paid more. He is, when you think about ESPN, you think about Stephen A. But damn, anyhow, but with ESPN, I'll go to Undisputed again. Like I said, it's like, what are we getting from this? Like, where does this conversation go? What does it have to do with anything? I just don't understand it. And then in the case of First Take, who, Skip left there in 2016, he started Undisputed on Fox, which is crazy. I want to know how those meetings were like, hey, bro, let me get over here. Because Chris Broussard went over there as well. Now, Chris Broussard is saying whatever. I had to block him. He said Jokic passed up KD if he won the championship. Like, bro, what? You blocked. Seemed like a good man, too. But nah, you blocked. I can't hear that, bro. Like, no Kevin Durant slander. Kevin Durant, one of my favorite players ever, probably my top 5. Like, bro, we not doing that. Come on. 2-time Finals MVP, 2-time champ. Nah, we're not doing that, bro. 1-time MVP, even though Nikola got 2, but nah. Top 10 scoring by now. Definitely has to be. Stop. But that's my bias. So when he went over there, the First Take, Undisputed is actually, when Shannon leave, it's basically over. I don't care. I think they said like Bart Scott might be going over there to join a panel. I don't know. But either way, can't wait. No, I can't wait to never watch that. But in the case of them, hold on. Y'all gotta forgive me. Gotta take notes, like I always say. So in the case of Undisputed, now it's coming to the end. And this has been probably boiling since Skip said what he said in December. I think that was 2022. Yeah, because it was all over. I remember Godfrey Podcast had, and again, y'all got to use YouTube Shorts. I remember on his the YouTube Short now has like 9.1 million views. Use the YouTube Shorts again. You never know. A lot of stuff I post goes crazy, which leads to subscribers and the like button. But I have to put myself up. But with Undisputed, when it first started, for the first couple of years, I want to say even up until 2021, it was just it was a great show. There's no way to put it. Especially in 2017. 2017, when Shannon first started smoking Black and Milds and the cognac, I remember everybody was talking about that. That was trending. And that was hilarious when he did that. I remember vividly because I was in Houston when that happened. It was hilarious. So the show from then on got more interesting. It was good that rookie year, but I think what happened was Shannon was like, oh, I can be myself. I can have fun. And Skip allowed him to do it. And it was just overall a great show, especially when pressure was on there, Joy Taylor. And as time went on, y'all got to forget fatigue. Let me drink some more water. But I said Joy Taylor, I started drinking my water. Anyhow, forgive me. So as time progressed, it seems to be, in the rumor is Skip is mad at, and I won't talk too much about Undisputed. It's just the whole topic of sports journalism in 2023. It seems to be reports saying that Skip is mad. That's where all this came from in December till now, because he gets bodied by Shannon these arguments, and mostly it's about football because, he's one of the greatest tight ends of all time, arguably the greatest, one of the greatest players of all time, Hall of Famer. So he knows the game better than anybody. 3-time champ. Yeah, I think he knows about the game better than you, Skip. But shouts out to that being the Butcher Bar. And, it seems to be what's being said is Skip has been hating on Shannon. So if y'all don't know what you should know, which was news last week and it came out of nowhere, which is crazy. I mean, it was about a week or two ago. Whenever Kwame Brown cut that shoe promo, and then a report came out the next day that his house got burglarized, which is crazy. But again, stay out of LA, people. Fucking horrible city. Worst city in America. So, and I'm from there. It was just that, and then the next day was a buyout. I thought it was a rumor. Uh, they said he reached a buyout. So after the NBA Finals, yeah, he out. What is he doing next? Probably his own thing. I don't know. They want him at it is what it is, which would be hilarious. But and then uh Stephen A said, hey, if you want to do a show together, we'll do a show together, which would be hilarious. Both of them on the show together. Yeah, I'll watch that. I'll definitely watch that. Because both of them is loud, but it'd be hilarious because they know what they're talking about. Yeah. So it just seems to be with journalism, sports journalism nowadays on these main broadcast channels. It's more so just propaganda, I'll say. I don't even know how much professionalism is involved because the stuff that seems to be that goes on is just like, all right, bro. And then it's not entertaining. And it goes to a conversation I had with somebody close to me yesterday. How do you get over now? Especially when it's nothing to talk about, because it's nothing to talk about now. And we know what they're going to say once this season gets dry for basketball. Because right now, Kyrie, of course, he knows how to play the media. He's just talking about how he wants LeBron to come to the Mavericks. That ain't gonna happen. You know, LeBron is a Cowboys and Yankees fan, and he a Browns fan. He might be a Bengals fan. I don't know. He all them fans, but not only fans. So hey yo, so that's not gonna happen. Uh, it would be great, but it's not gonna happen. Him, Luka, Kyrie, be fire. I'm not gonna hold you. It's only one basketball though, so I don't know how that's gonna happen. But no, it's just around this time, I fear that we'll get the same thing we've been getting for years, where it's nothing to talk about. So they got to come up with stuff to talk about. Then we get close to training camp, and it's just like, what are y'all gonna talk about? It seems like they go to the sorry about that. So it seems like they just go Cowboys. Uh, Cowboys. Let's talk about the Yankees somehow. Let's talk about they just find stuff. LeBron being the goat, Jordan being the goat. So they don't ever particularly have stuff to talk about too. You see how I back away from the camera when I ain't trying to show my full hairline. It is coming along great, but not that great. Either way, I need to shape up. So I got the LeBron thing kind of going on, but I don't care about hairline. I don't think the women do either. No ego. So I don't fear what's gonna happen with sports media just because it's like you got podcasters. Huh? Shouts out to Ben at the Oddball Podcast. I got people that I listen to. Like the only time I really support ESPN is when I'm listening to Bomani Jones. That's it. When I listen to Bomani Jones, that's the only time I'm really tapped in, yo. Because the right time is one of my favorite shows, and it has been for a long time. Like any particular, broadcasting thing Bomani is on, I'm gonna listen because he's intelligent. He knows what he's talking about. He breaks stuff down to make it simplistic, and then it makes you think about it instead of just saying something off the bat, like most of the people at ESPN. But again, they don't know about sports. But anyhow, uh, what else? So transition over to another sport, as people would say, because they consider it not being a real sport. Definitely a sport. Still hurts. I'll say this too before I get to that. Before I get to wrestling, I don't know anything about soccer, but Messi is supposed to be going to an MLS team, if I'm not mistaken. Right? Maybe he already went MLS team. I don't know what I'm talking about. Anyhow, I just know people hate Messi, and seems like he's going to a better team. From what it looks like, I need to ask my soccer people what's up with it. I don't watch soccer. I might this season. I might actually this summer. Because I see a lot of people like, it's a good woman I was following on Twitter. She was into soccer. I was like, I might need to check in. I think she was an Arsenal fan, whatever that means, whatever the fuck that means. But I might actually, tap into soccer. Might as well. I mean, because the thing is, WNBA isn't on every single day. And then the MLB, again, sometimes they play the same team back to back, so why would I see it? But going back to what I was about to transition over to, AEW. I talked about you on the main show. I apologize. I wasn't familiar with your game. They do this though. Forbidden Door, or every now and then Tony be like, all right, bro, it's trash, trash, trash. And I think that's just life in general. You gotta just look at life like that and be like, trash, trash, trash. Really good, really good, really good, trash, trash, trash. That's just like the symbolism for life. And that's what it's been, like I said before. And I won't talk too much in depth about it, but that's what it's been for me personally when it comes to AEW this year. It's been highlights, but for the most part, nah, I ain't been feeling it. But now we're close to Forbidden Door pay-per-view, which is in Toronto, and I wish I can go, but still need a passport. I'm a dope male without a passport. LLC Twitter be upset at me. They'll probably add me to that weird list on Twitter because Twitter isn't a real thing to begin with. About as a man, how can you not have a passport or whatever cornball shit people say anyhow? But I do need to get one just in general. It's time to go to the Philippines, China, DR. I'm snitching on myself. So Forbidden Door. As you know, if you saw Forbidden Door last year, anybody's listening to this, it's the New Japan crossover with AEW. Last year we had some pretty good matches. We had Okada in a tag match. Was it a tag match? It was a Fatal 4-Way. In a Fatal 4-Way match last year. So you see all these your known New Japan workers going against your known AEW workers. So 2 matches are announced. We got Kenny Omega versus Will Oceanspray, as they say on BRP. 2. If you've seen the first one this year at Wrestle Kingdom Day 1, that was probably match of the year. Thus far, that's match of the year for me. And WWE has been putting on bangers. Don't get me wrong. That Cody versus Roman match is phenomenal. I got to go back and watch that. But that Kenny Omega versus Will Oceanspray match is fire because they was beating the hell out of each other. So if you like you like crackers, you know what I mean? Non-American crackers hitting each other. That's what it was. So that's why that match was fire. So we get the sequel to that. How great will it be in the States? I don't know. Can they top the first one? I doubt it, but we'll see. But the biggest match that was announced, all right? Biggest match that was announced. We couldn't get it last year because Daniel was hurt for like the 50th time. Like after this match, he could retire if he wants to. And he don't need to wrestle. So I don't know if he'll ever hear this. I don't know if anybody from AEW hear this. Hey, the talent reps, do not let him work. I don't care. Don't let him do a tag match. Don't let him do nothing. He needs to just be training right now, chilling, preserve him, put him in a big cast, put him in some ice, his neck, all that. Pause. Make sure he good because we can't mess this up. Okada, my God, you my age, I understand. Hey, Father Time is undefeated. Bruh, if you're hearing this, I can't speak Japanese, but anybody does speak Japanese, tell him I see hot the knee. I see hot the knee, bruh. I need everybody healthy. Nobody work. Don't do nothing. Don't bench press. Don't do nothing. Don't do no weight workouts. Do some calisthenics. Do some kickboxing. I need both of them healthy because we finally get it. Because Daniel Bryan is healthy as he gonna be. Daniel Bryan versus Okada. Bruh, when they made that announcement, I think it was Sunday when that was announced, or that's when Daniel Bryan, it was Sunday when he cut the promo and you just see the Japanese subtitles out here, him looking angry. He out in the desert, climbing canyons as he would, probably eating a vegan burrito or something. I gotta watch the promo. I didn't watch it before this, but then they just said he called out Okada. Cut to yesterday as of this recording, which was Tuesday, and Okada responded. He said, "Let's go." and it's official. Okada versus Daniel Bryan. Bruh, that's probably gonna be match of the year. If they get 22 minutes or more, they stay healthy. They don't feel beat up. That's what I'm saying. Nobody need to be beat up. We don't need no excuses. Match of the year easily. You get somebody who is like a god in New Japan, being Okada at 35. I think he about to turn 35. You get a god. Be it. Now, we don't even know what's going on with my guy. You know what I mean? We don't know what's going on with him. Ibushi. We don't know what's going on with the guy. That's my favorite wrestler. We don't know what's going on. But I got some ideas out there and see if they're gonna book him. But more likely he gonna be booked on this card just because he been in the States this past year. He's still trying to get a deal with somebody. I think if it's taking this long, more likely he's gonna sign with AEW, which would probably be ideal. Just because he's building a wrestling school in Japan where he's from. And he's building a wrestling school where he's from. If he comes to AEW, it's of course a way lighter schedule than it would be with the E. Even though they was looking at him, he could work once a month, something like that, fly back and forth. He can do that. So they haven't announced him yet, but I'm pretty sure he's gonna get on this card. Who he gonna have a match with? Hey man, Moxley would be fire. Yeah, just Moxley be fire. Yeah, just do that because it's got to be somebody mainstream and somebody from the Blackpool Combat Club. I say do Moxley. Moxley versus Ibushi. Yeah, that'd be amazing. So, and I don't want to, book my ideals, but I think that's what they should go with. But yeah, so going back to Okada. So Okada being like a god over there in New Japan. And then you got Daniel Bryan, who was an underground legend, then went to the E and became a mainstream legend. So now he's just a legend. He's just one of the greatest of all time. If he left today, he is known as one of the greatest of all time. Where you place him, I'm not sure. Maybe top 10 because he got the promos. He can work any type of style. You could probably put him up there. You got Okada, who, what I mean? He could have came to the States, but it's like, what do you do? Like, he's had a couple ROH matches, but it's like, all right, cool. If he comes to the States, it's like him and Ibushi. I understand why they didn't come to the States because it's like what they do. With Shinsuke, it's like, all right, you go to the E because the flamboyant stuff and all that, and that works. But with them too, it's like they can get over, but what do you do long term? So this match, I don't really need to go in depth about it. I mean, you got two people with two different contrast styles. You got Okada, who is more so the entertainment style, old school Japan style, without, stiff hitting you, pause. And then you got Daniel Bryan, who's definitely gonna act, hey bro, just lay it on me, pause. With them kicks. That's what I'm saying. They're gonna hurt each other, but this of course it's a work, but they really gonna, be hitting each other as hard as they can. And you got Daniel Bryan who can just work any type of style. He can do ground style, he can do pause. He can do, I mean, he can't do so much the high flying, the fast pace anymore. But every now and then he got it when he used to do the Claymore kick back in the day, a couple of years ago. So and two people who can adapt to anything. So it's gonna be great. I mean, actually, even thus far, even what happened, we'll see. We'll see how it happens. It just depends on health. Otherwise than that, I'm not gonna really do the booking of Forbidden Door. That's for other podcasters to do, other people to do. But it's like we live in. That's the thing about AEW. People can say what they want. I haven't been a fan this year, but I'm not, pro WWE at all because I haven't really liked WWE this year, minus the pay-per-views. The storylines haven't been hitting. I'm tired of this Bloodline storyline. I like it now for the time being, just because of what Solo did. But then I might be like, I'm at a point now. It's like, all right, bro, get Cody Rhodes the titles at SummerSlam. If the rumors are true about him going against Brock Lesnar, it's like, all right, bro, what are we doing? So I think it's time for him to get the title shot, or go ahead and do Jey Uso like I've been saying for a while. I don't know. They got to do something. So That'd actually be hilarious if they get the Jey Uso instead of Cody Rhodes. But regardless, about time for them to come out them titles. Or that title. Now it's one title. So it's just gold. And it's all right. People be arguing about titles like, dog, I'm not buying that shit. It don't matter anyway. So it's like we're living in far as the AEW, and this is why I love WWE 2K23, even though I still need to get it. It's been months now. I'll get it. I need to get a Steam Deck. I just keep manifesting a Steam Deck. I need to write it. I forgot what the Aura wanted to say, but write it down, confess it, and all that. I need to do that with a Steam Deck and a Hellcat and other stuff that I need or want, more so wants and needs. Nah, I like that's what I like about AEW. They definitely do the WWE 2K23 type booking, like these type of matches, these venues and stuff like that. And knowing KP, he already made the venue when they're not even done with the final build. He be building all the characters and just be spotting on KP from Black and Out. Say we be killing it with the creative customs. He probably did it already, but it's just living proof that Tony Khan really is a mark. And I say that in a non-bad way. He's just a fan. He's a huge fan. It shows with the way he's doing, the type of booking he's doing with that new show that's coming out for CM Punk of all people. It lets you know exactly where he stands in his fandom. But looking forward to it. After that is just what do you do next? That's the main thing with AEW. It's like, all right, cool. You gave us this, but what's next? And that's the only time I do that with entertainment. I'm not a what next person. I live in the art as it's being made and as it's finished. But with them in particular, I do kind of ask every now and then, like, what's next? So we'll see after that. I know the game comes out in about 2 weeks. Again, when it goes on sale, I got y'all. I'm on Twitch now, so I'm definitely going to stream it on Twitch for sure. I think you can do that on Steam Deck. We'll see. But I'll wait for it to go on sale. So it might be a month from now. When they hit $30, then we up. I'm not spending $70 on that, bro. 50 at the most. That's not a $70 game. 50 at the most. 30 for sure. It'll be on sale. It's THQ. Well, they didn't put the Last Saints Row, and that was horrible from what I heard on sale. I still need to play that. It seems like that's barely on sale. Except for one time I said. But otherwise, that's it. Yeah, that's it for right now. Again, impromptu. I just been thinking about this 2 days. I was like, man, let me talk about sports journalism. When the next episode will be, more than likely with me, probably next week. We'll see. I said the show was over, but it's me. It's never really over. Nothing is ever dead. They make a new Terminator, so hey man, I'm living proof that I might be TM103 or whatever the name of the Terminator is. But as usual, follow me on Instagram because again, I changed my mind about Twitter. I just said last week I was gonna stay on Twitter, not staying on Twitter. It's hilarious what's going on with Zion. This ain't the shade room, but if y'all want to look up what's going on with Zion, please look that up because that's hilarious. The whole time I thought he was looking at women that look like Davis, so it's kind of crazy that it turned out that way. Hey, a win's a win. Doesn't matter if you went by inch or a mile, but I digress. If you choose to follow me on Instagram and TikTok. I tell people that do both of those, even though I don't personally post on TikTok. I'll be on there looking at funny stuff. I keep saying that I'll send y'all some funny stuff. If you want to be nosy, like a lot of people choose to do, go on my Instagram and you'll see on my Instagram what's going on. Stuff I'll be posting, having fun with. Pardon the Banks on IG, PardonTheBanks on Instagram. Otherwise than that, that's it, man. Follow Davis if you want to. Davis DC Code. Of course, follow my guy. Otherwise than that, I've seen the Spider-Man movie. This Wi-Fi be hate. Everything that's been said needs to be said. I don't have anything else to say about the movie. Transformers Beast Wars will be out this week. It's not called Beast Wars, but it is Beast Wars. And that's it, man. Thank you all for being here. See you next time. Peace.